Good morning. I'm Alisa Z. You're listening to the Sunday edition. The voice you're about to hear is one many of you have heard over the years, other than mine. Not only is this man an institution in this market in radio, but
He's been institutionalized.
he's been institutionalized, self-committed, though I'd like to point out. No, but Bob Bauer is with me this morning. A lot of you know his name from years and years in Detroit radio. And when I reached out to Bob asking him to come in the wee hours of this Sunday morning, the note I had written to Bob was, please come and talk about this institution you have developed that's become as much a tradition as turkey on Thanksgiving and so many other things we look toward at this time of year, the Marathon for Meals. Good morning, Bob Bauer, and thank you.
Good morning. I couldn't get out of that RV fast enough. Let me tell you something. It's like I've been in there for a little over a week now, and I'm not used to being cooped up.
Yes.
And I'm used to being out on the lake and the river and the hardwoods, and I'm sitting in a parking lot. I'm surrounded by cars and blacktop. But it's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you asking me. And, every time somebody says what you just said, we never expected this to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, here's how
start
how
at
it
the beginning,
happened.
right.
83, 84, Springsteen goes on the road. Comes to the Pontiac Silverdome, and he's doing his tour in support of food banks around the country.
Right.
So he donates $30,000 to the local food bank. I was at WLLZ at the time. We were the radio station of note in this whole, we were promoting it.
Right.
And Bruce is on stage going, yeah, you got to support the food banks and this, and that, and the other thing. And there was a guy there from the Food Bank of Oakland County. He got together with our promotions director, and the promotions director decided, hey, it'd be cool to put a disc jockey in a semi and make him live there till he filled it full of food. Who are we going to get? Well, we're not going to get this guy or this guy. Oh, I know who'll do it. Let's ask Bob.
Let's get Mikey. He likes everything.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's grab Bob. He's nuts enough. And, of course, being a way younger man and doing the whole rock and roll thing, was going to be out in the street.
Right.
And we said, I said, hey, man, if everybody's into it, let's go. Well, the lawyers all said, we're not putting him in a semi.
Right.
We got to put him in an RV.
Yep.
And my wife at the time said, thank you very much.
Yes.
Because if you kill him, I'll kill him.
Well, and I'd like to point out, even that RV was not all that deluxe, because I used to come and visit you and drop off some boxes of food. But it was still, you were cooped up in there for how long each year, for how many years?
Well, the first year we did it was 19 days, and it's fluctuated back and forth over the years between 19 and 22 days, except for this year. It's 27 days because we're not doing one food drive, we're doing two food drives.
Right.
So I'm going to be at my current location, which is out at the New York Premier Entertainment Complex, which is out at 23 Mile Road in Chesterfield Township. And I'll be there until December the 10th. Then on December the 10th at 6 p.m., we pack everything up. I go home for 2 days and wash my clothes.
Thank goodness.
And that's what my crew says. Go, man. And then on that Monday, December 13th, we move into Mill Pond Park in downtown Brighton.
Right.
Right next to the Mill Pond, right outside the Patrick Financial Services.
Okay.
My buddy Joby Patrick said, hey, come on down, do it in our lot, and everything will be great. It's right there on Grand River. You won't be able to miss us.
Can't miss it.
And we're going to be there for 12 days until December the 24th. And that's for Gleaners of Livingston.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is for the Capuchin Soup Kitchen.
Gotcha.
Now, here's how we wound up doing it for the Capuchin Soup Kitchen.
Right.
Excuse me. About a year and a half ago, I got all these people telling me, you got to get on Facebook. You got to get on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. And I had a very close friend say, you need to go to Facebook. That's what's happening in the world today. So I went. The first person that friended me is Brian Pastoria.
I'm not surprised.
Harmony Park. And we talked, and he said, well, yeah, you got to come down and see what we're doing. And I did, and we've been working on this project for a year and a half. We have a place called udetroit.com, which you can go to And there's a link to our food drive page on Facebook. So you go to U Detroit, click on the Facebook page, and we got 2 other Facebook pages and everything. So anyway, he calls me on the phone one day and he goes, listen, the Yaffe Group came to us and said they want to record a song for the Capuchin Soup Kitchen and play it and sell it for the Capuchin Soup Kitchen.
Okay.
Would you guys shoot the video? And Brian said, sure. So he asked me to come down and do interviews with the musicians. So they brought all these musicians down, and you, again, go to my Facebook page, Marathon for Meals. Actually, udetroit.com will take you there. And there is an amazing rendition of Carole King's You've Got a Friend. And if you haven't seen it or heard it yet, you need to go and listen to it. And
you do. You have to. It's a must.
Here's some of the people on it. Jimmy Bones from Kid Rock.
Right.
Thornetta Davis. Charlie Allen Martin from the original Silver Bullet Band. Ty Stone, which is a huge up-and-coming artist from Detroit. We've got Dave Edwards, of course, from The Look. My old friend Paul Kramer, who's played with Mitch Ryder and like 65 other Detroit bands. On guitar, we got Dan Hess. We've got Jeff Scott, Skeeto Davis on drums, James Simons on bass, and then you've got Carolyn Striho, Jill Jack, Barbara Payton, Stuart Frankie, and and on the front, but see, on the front of the video, we did these interviews.
Right.
We did one with Brother Jerry from the Capuchins.
Right.
That sells it.
Sure.
And we did it with the president of the Yaffe Group.
Yes.
And we did it with all these musicians, and everybody was so dialed in to why they were there, and they understood why they were there, and they understood what the problems were.
And that's what we need. That's what we need to focus on. Well, not just the problems, but the solutions. And here comes Bob Bauer, who since 1983-84 has been a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. We talked before we turned the microphones on, Bob, about how the need for food throughout the communities is increasing. Whenever I have someone from a nonprofit in, whether it's from the food bank, Forgotten Harvest, the Community Foundation for Southeastern Michigan, Yad Ezra, we're seeing people who used to be able to open their wallets and write checks now are coming with outstretched hands because they're in need.
Sure.
So what you're doing in collecting food to feed people it's always been important. It's always been critical, and it's always been God's work. Now it's even more important.
Oh, man.
So we want to make sure people know. Go to these Facebook pages. Hear these musicians sing You've Got a Friend. Yeah. Hear the message as we're supporting the Capuchins, as we're supporting the Livingston County, the food bank.
Right.
Gleaners of Livingston County.
Great organization.
Bob Bauer, Marathon for Meals. Let's fill these trucks. Let's make our donations. How much have you raised over the years? Do you know how many tons of food you've brought in over the years?
A couple of years ago, somebody said that we have fed roughly 15 million people. I mean, there have been years when we've collected 260 tons. There have been years when we've collected 42 tons or 20 tons,
right,
or 100 tons, or 165. And it depends, and
sure,
year by year. But I will tell you this: 2 years ago, in 2008, I'm sitting in the RV out on Woodward Avenue watching television, and we're watching this whole thing with what they called the bailouts for the auto companies and whatever it was, but and how all these companies were, and I was sitting there with a group of my friends, and we looked at each other and said, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
6 years ago, almost 6 years ago, I moved out to Livingston County. At the time, it was booming. They're building cul-de-sacs with $1 million homes.
Right.
And in 2008, everything crashed and burned. There are $1 million homes that have been abandoned. People they haven't sold their house.
Right.
They packed their belongings and left. And it's not. Here's the one thing that's remained constant over the years. 46% of the people we serve are children. It's been that way.
It's always been.
The whole 26 years I've been doing this. The fastest growing segment of the population has been always the working class poor.
Right.
And since '08, it has increased fivefold. People who have always had a job now don't have jobs, can't find jobs. And somebody says to a guy, somebody goes to a guy who's been making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. He's raising a family of 4. He's got all this. All of a sudden, somebody's saying, yeah, well, you can get a job over at McDonald's. Are you kidding me? You can't do that.
He's trying to support his family.
Yeah, you can't. It can't be done. Now, as I could do it, I'm a single guy. My kids are grown and gone. I'm a survivalist anyway. I hunt, fish, and grow my own food. I don't care. As long as I can buy, coffee and creamer and toilet paper, I'm good to go, I can make my own arrows. But it has gotten to the point to where you can't talk to anybody that doesn't know somebody who's crashed and burned.
It's true. That is so true. Everybody, you look around, and whether they're strangers, friends, or acquaintances, we all know people, whether they've been walked out of white-collar positions with the automakers.
Oh, yeah.
Let go from blue-collar positions.
On the line.
Yep. Unemployed is unemployed, and struggle is struggle.
Right.
Struggle is struggle, man.
And you know what? It knows no race, no religion, no creed, no anything. It's all the way across the board, especially over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that you don't normally hear discussed on network television, especially on the cable channels. Everybody wants to look at the government and go, it's your fault. Okay, to a point, now that we've got that out, now it's time to take care of the problem. And that's what the food drive is all about, to get the message out.
Absolutely.
As to who and how, and won't you please come help us.
In the 2 minutes we have left, I can't believe the time's flown so quickly. Let's make sure people know exactly where to go to donate food now through the 10th of December, and then from the 13th through the 24th, and remind them that they can go to Facebook and get details as well.
If you go to udetroit.com, up at the top of the page, there's a banner for the Marathon for Meals.
Good.
That will take you to the Marathon for Meals page. That will take you to my fan page and everywhere else you need to go. The video's there. Everything's there. All the information.
All Bob Bauer all the time.
Yeah, which blows my mind and my friends. But right now we're at the Premier Entertainment Center over there on 23 Mile Road in Chesterfield Township.
Good.
We're 2 miles east of I-94. Then, from the 13th to the 24th of December, for the Gleaners of Livingston County, we'll be at the Mill Pond Park, right outside the Patrick Financial offices, which is on West Grand River, right downtown Brighton, right next to the Mill Pond. There's a PayPal. That's what I wanted to say. We're doing PayPal this year, kids. So, and then you go to our site, and
it's very high tech, Bob. It's
you know what? I'm trying to get all this information out, and my big thanks goes out to the guys at Harmony Park, Mark and Brian Pastoria.
Absolutely.
I couldn't do this without them. This wouldn't have happened this way.
Yes.
Without them, and Brian just blew us up this year.
He's the Facebook king, isn't he?
You know he is.
He really is. We said before we turned the mics on, too, I want Brian to teach me how to just get out there on Facebook.
The guy is all things media.
He is. And, hey, friend me on Facebook, Alisa Z or Sunday Edition.
Right on.
Bob Bauer, thank you so much. It's been great to see you, first and foremost.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a long time, and neither one of us has aged. Not a wick.
Not a lick. And blessings on you and your family. Who have been around Detroit for so long, doing so many wonderful things in the broadcast industry.
Thank you, Bob.
God bless you.
And right back at you. Once again, I'm Alisa Z.